Hi, this is going to be a bit of an unusual video. It's a bit of an announcement plus talk about diligence and the importance of it, i.e. like persistent work and how that can actually help you get things and achieve things in life. So you might have to stick with me for this one, but anyway, let's get the news out of the way. I actually scored myself another storage unit. Yes, I've already got the bunker, which is absolutely fantastic, but I have been waiting a decade for one of these. So I bought this office/lab almost a decade ago now, and ever since then I've been waiting for one of the companion storage units to become available. Yes, I've been waiting a decade for this, but I finally scored one, and here it is. This is not my junk, it's the previous tenant's junk, and I'll be getting it in 8 weeks time. It's an 8-week settlement time because the company's still moving out. And anyway, it is in the basement of the building. It's right next to my parking spot, and there's only like 3 of these in the entire building, and there's like 50 or 60 companies in this one building, and there's very few of these storage units available. So these storage units are as rare as a proverbial clear case Fluke 87 here. Yes, they do actually exist, and no, I don't have one. Maybe I need more diligence, which we're going to talk about. So but yes, this is absolutely fantastic. This is not to replace the bunker. This is so that well, technically I could actually wheel stuff directly from the dumpster room on a trolley straight into this storage unit, so it doesn't have to come into the lab here, because you know I moved back from the 100 square meters back into the 50, which I was renting, back into the 50 square meters which I owned here, because why piss away all that money every month if it's just me in an office with all my junk and stuff, right? So anyway, once one of these became available, I absolutely nabbed it. I've been waiting a decade for this. So anyway, it's 30 square meters. It's going to be brilliant. I can like install like workbenches down there, install like my drill press and stuff like that. I was going to do this in a bunker, but because the bunker is in another part of the business park, it's not as convenient to get to. I can't like take big stuff I find in the dumpster and then pack them in the car and then drive to the storage unit and then offload them and then come back, and then when I want to get something I have to jump in the car again and then go over to the storage bunker and then pack it all in and drive it back. It's really inconvenient stuff. I love the bunker and it's huge and enormous, but anyway, I scored another storage unit in the basement. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And yes, this does have lighting. It's got power. I'll coat the floor and I'll install benches and shelving and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I can have it as like a little mechanical workshop, and I can do all sorts of stuff in here conveniently in the basement. Fantastic. So I know what you're saying, Dave, what on earth does this have to do with on the importance of diligence, which is why I clicked on this video. Probably it's not clickbaity enough, not enough people will click on that title, but anyway, it has to do with the fact that somebody asked me, how did I score one of these? Because they are quite rare, right? Somebody in building art, how did you get this thing? And like, I thought about it for a second, I was like, this wasn't luck. This was diligence. This was actually 10 years of work to get this. And I'm not just talking about like working for a decade to afford this thing, although it's not that expensive because it's only a storage unit. It's only $2,300 a square meter or something, as opposed to $10,000 a square meter, which is what this office is worth, and other offices in the business park, which is absolutely nuts. Anyway, I only paid, well, I'll talk about this. I only paid, what was it, $3,900 a square meter, I think, for this place back in the day. But anyway, diligence got me this. It wasn't the 10 years of hard work to be able to afford this. It was the 10 years work of looking at every single listing, i.e. a commercial real estate listing that came up in this business park. There's various commercial real estate websites. So ever since I've owned this place, actually, I've subscribed to like various email alerts and things like that. Anything that comes up in this particular part of the business park, and in particular, it's like certain buildings that I'm like targeting to buy anything in and stuff like that. So I've been looking at these listings continuously for a decade for one of these to pop up. And it's not just like they were selling this separately. This was buried down in the detail of the listing. You had to actually not only look at the listing for this, in this particular case, the owner is selling a much larger office like this one in the same building, and down the bottom there it was. Hey, here's this like little 30 square meter storage unit. And you had to read the detail to actually get this thing. So unless you were signed up to specific email alerts and you were diligently watching and reading every single listing, which I've been doing for a decade, keeping my ear to the ground, you never would have heard about this. And this is how I found out about it. Oh, there's a company that's moving out in the building here. Hey, there might be some nice stuff coming up in the dumpster room. Who knows? Or heck, it may even be a suitable one for me to upgrade from my 50 to, I don't know, what is it, 70 or 80 or, something like that. Maybe I'll be an upgrade. Who knows, right? So I check every single listing, and I've been doing this diligently for a decade. And I didn't luck upon this. This was diligent, hard work, consistent for a decade, to finally nab one of these rare as hen's teeth storage units. And then it got me to thinking, which is what prompted me for this video. A lot of other stuff that I've done and found in life, and other things that I've talked about on the channel many times over the years, requires diligence. Most often, you're not just going to luck upon something. Actually, if you really want something, often you have to do a lot of work to get it, a lot of diligence and continually searching and finding things. Just for this office, for example, when I bought this almost a decade ago, the way I found this one, it wasn't actually listed. I didn't see it in the commercial real estate websites. I was looking for something smaller than this, actually, because, I didn't want to spend a lot of money, going full time on this YouTube thing. Oh, that was a bit of a risk, and buying an office, spending a couple $100,000 on an office, that was like like a really big decision. So I was searching for smaller stuff. I almost actually bought like a small 30 square meter unit actually, but they reneged on the offer and stuff like that. I'm glad they did, because I managed to find this 50 square meters. But how did I find it? Diligence. I literally went to every building in this business park, because this is close to home. I wanted to buy in this business park. So I went to every single building in the business park, and I walked every single floor looking for vacant units. I didn't trust that, I'd just find something in the search listings or the commercial real estate websites. So I went to every building, walked literally every floor, and anything that was vacant, I would, sometimes they wouldn't even have signs on them, right? They'd just be vacant. The lights are out. You can peek. Often there's like a little bit that you can see through. Often they're like frosted glass, like you can see here, but either you can see inside my unit here if you just jump up above. So you just jump up and have a look in there, or you peek through, and you can see that's completely empty, or the lights are out, nobody's home. So hey, right, this thing must be for sale. And usually, people aren't just going to sit on these things for too long. I did that for every building in the business park. I knew it intimately, and I found this place, and it was vacant. Turns out it had been for sale like 12 months earlier, but for some reason they couldn't find a buyer for it. It was a depressed market at the time, and all that sort of stuff. So the power was permanently off. They permanently switched, the electricity provider permanently switched the power off, and it was just, technically it was still for sale, but it wasn't really being properly listed out there. So I contacted the agent, and they said, oh yeah, it's still I remember that one, still available. Are you interested? And I said, yeah, certainly. Can you show me around? Well, I don't know, got to find the keys, and there's no lights, there's no power, but bring a headlamp and you can look around. I think I've even got the video posted where I've got the headlamp looking around this place when I was buying it. Anyway, so and I did my research as well. It turns out, I found the old listings and stuff like that, and it had been on the market for like 12 months and they couldn't sell this thing. So I lowballed offered them, and they took it, right? So I got even cheaper than normal. Even though it was depressed market, I got even cheaper than normal rate on this place, and now it's gone up like 250% in value since I actually bought the thing. Winner. So anyway, finding this place. Diligence, just persistent work. Doesn't have to be hard work, just has to be persistent. And the same thing how I found my other storage bunker as well, right? I had these email alerts for like search terms like storage. I know I wanted a storage unit because I was sick of getting, hiring one of those Kennard storage units for exorbitant rates for like a tiny little cage thing I had. I had like a 1 square meter cage or something to put stuff in, and that was like a couple $100 a month or something. So yeah, I looked around and sure enough, one popped up on the search and I snapped it up. And that turned out to be the absolute best storage unit in the entire business park. The power, the lighting, the workbenches already in there, the tall ceilings, everything, the ventilation. This new one's got ventilation as well, by the way. It doesn't suck the air out. It actually pushes the air in and then out the door. So, it looks pretty good. But anyway, yeah, best storage unit in the park. I nabbed that one. So now I own 2 storage units, or I will once the papers are finally. I have signed the paper, but there's an 8-week settlement time. So, And like how I said, I walked all the buildings here in this business park to find this office. Well, the same thing. I've mentioned this in job search videos before. Don't just rely on the job search listings. Diligence. Go to a business park that, has lots of high-tech companies and stuff like that. Go into the foyers of the buildings, look at all the names, write them all down, and then go in, or take a photo these days, and then go and research all these individual companies, and then find a back way in. Don't go through the human resources department, find like an engineering contact in there, go around the human resources department, and get into companies and things like that. Diligence in looking for jobs. People say, "Oh, I can't find a decent job." Well, diligence. Go out there, start searching. And in the crazy real estate market these days, the same thing can be said for like finding a good, like affordable house and things like that, or a good affordable investment property, or whatever it is. Often these things take a lot of diligence. You've got to do your research. You've got to spend often, 6 months, a year or whatever, looking for a house or some investment property or something like that. But that can often pay off. You're not just going to luck upon some magnificent, buying or investment opportunity. You've got to work for it. And people ask me often, how do I find a lot of the test gear I find on eBay? And I've done videos on this, searching on eBay, setting up keywords and just looking at all the listings. Even to this day, I've still got, like every day, an eBay listing will pop up with a search term that I'm looking for. Often it's not an exact targeted search term, but I'll look through each one of those listings, and an obscure thing that I'm after might actually pop up, or something of, a great value. There might be a repair item, or there might be some spectacular value bit of test gear or something like that pops up. It's diligence, and not just like setting up the search terms and forgetting about them, but actively looking for them. That's what I'm talking about with this storage unit. I spent a decade looking at all these listings. And like that might sound like ridiculous. What a waste of life. Just, spending every day looking at all these, email alert listings that pop up. But, it takes bugger all time, and the payoffs can be really big. There's no way I would have found this otherwise. And then I'd have to spend like another 10 years before some other owner in the building sells one of these rare as hen's teeth units. I can't believe somebody actually sold this. Usually you hold onto these and you hold onto them forever because they're great in your self-managed super fund and stuff like that. Just rent them out to people and the returns are great. How'd I find Mrs EEVblog? Diligence. How'd I score myself a rare as hen's teeth Sinclair C5 here in Australia? Yeah, I know I haven't done anything with it, but one day, better late than never. How'd I get a Sinclair C5? Diligence. Once again, it was the search terms. I put them in and I actively search for them. 99% of the time, it pops up when I'm searching for like Sinclair C5 stuff. Oh, it's a front wheel, it's a decal, it's a original owner's manual, or it's something else. But you've got to actually look at these things, and occasionally, once in every 5 years or something, one will pop up for sale. And of course, people ask me, Dave, how have you been so successful, relatively successful at least, at YouTube? Diligence. Persistent work over the last 12 years producing a video every day. I didn't just suddenly go viral and my number of subscribers went like that. It's linear growth for the last 12 years. Thank you very much. Or how do you score a better job? You do it by being more valuable and appearing as a better prospect than all your competition. How do you do that? Diligence, by persistently doing good work and publishing it on a website, doing whatever, making these projects. Diligence in producing stuff, then you can show off later. So you can't just spend a day on something and then expect that to be impressive to someone who's interviewing you for a job, for example. But if you've like worked on a project for 6 months, 12 months, or you've worked on, a dozen different projects and you've published them all and things like, wow, right? They're going to be so impressed. That's what's going to score you a better job, a better career, all sorts of things. So I'm sure you get the idea by now. Diligence, it's important. And a lot of people won't bother. And that's why a lot of people aren't successful or don't get what they're after, because they haven't put the time and effort into doing it. Sometimes you just get lucky and things just, fall into your lap and, everything's hunky-dory. But no, sometimes in case of like this storage unit, rare as hen's teeth, I had to hassle them and go, oh, is this available on a separate title? Turns out it is available on a separate title. Wow. So, because then it would have been really hard to break up. You would have hire a lawyer to draw up contracts to split it off from the strata. It's all messy. But yeah, turns out it was a separate title. And then I hassled them to not only give me inspection, but also buy it, because they really wanted to bundle this with a bigger with the actual office, to make it sort of more attractive. It was always like a separate purchase kind of thing, but it sort of makes it more attractive. So I convinced them to sell it to me before they actually had any offers at all on their main office. And sure enough, yep, hey, it'll be mine in 8 weeks. Winner. So there you go, the importance of diligent and just persistent hard work. It doesn't even have to be hard, it just has to be persistent work can actually pay off. So if you've got a good example of this, please leave it in the comments down below. Hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Catch you next time.